So if you clicked on this video, I'm assuming you saw the end of the Sonic movie sequel, which introduced Shadow the Hedgehog, who will be in the Sonic movie 3. All things considered, this post-credit scene is actually kind of short, but we get a lot of information in just a short amount of time, and I feel like a lot of it needs to be talked about in this video, so I'm going to try to do the best I can to assume what might happen in the Sonic movie 3. However, before I discuss the post-credit scene, I do want to talk a bit about my thoughts on Shadow actually getting in the movie. And to be totally honest with you, I love it. I'm very thankful that he's here, and honestly, that's kind of the character I wanted from the very beginning when I first saw the Sonic movie 3 logo. I know people say it's kind of rushed, and it seems like it should have been Metal Sonic or Amy making an appearance in that movie, and yeah, I do understand that Shadow is not going to be coming before them in the game canon, but this is the movie canon. This is what they want to do, and honestly, I think they know what they're doing. They did a great job with the Sonic movie sequel, so I have high hopes for what could be in the Sonic movie 3. Even with Shadow being the end credit scene reveal, I highly doubt that he will be the only character featured in this movie that's going to be new. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Amy, Metal Sonic, or some other characters get in this film, because the way Sonic movie 2 functioned was we got Tails and Knuckles. I mean, we also got the Master Emerald and Super Sonic and everything along those lines too, but the way I kind of see it is, so at this current point in time of recording, the Sonic movie made $71 million domestically and $141 million worldwide. And this is just a couple days past opening weekend. So I feel like with that in mind, why wouldn't they want to make an opportunity to cash out and make more characters for the Sonic movie 3 and still make it make sense? Like, obviously you're going to want to produce a good movie knowing that this film series is actually generating a lot of revenue. You kind of want to keep its fan base, happy in order to see the next one and future films after that. And if we are to go out the assumption that other characters will be in the movie like Amy and Metal Sonic, it still would make the most sense to show off Shadow the Hedgehog first, because I hate to break the news, but he is the most popular Sonic character of the three of them. So it would make the most sense to show off a character that most people seem to know. So I guess the question still tends to be, was Shadow a good pick for the Sonic movie 3? Is he too early? I guess time can only tell, but I personally believe that everything will work out just fine, and Shadow will actually be pretty good in this movie with how well they did Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles in Sonic movie 2. So anyway, let's get to the important part that you guys are all here for, the post-credit scene discussion. What happened here? What does it mean for the future of the Sonic movie franchise, or series, or whatever you want to call it? So obviously the post-credit scene takes place almost immediately after Super Sonic completely decimates the Death Egg robots, and the gun agents are actually looking for Dr. Eggman, who was caught up in the blast, and they cannot seem to find him. And even the general assumes that no one could have survived in that blast, making us to believe that Eggman perhaps might have died. Now, my initial reaction to this is just believing that there's no possible way that Eggman is actually dead. They're gonna bring him back for the Sonic movie 3, but we do have some information from Jim Carrey himself, who actually stated that he might be retiring. And he said this on April 1st, but it still wasn't an April Fool's joke, which I was kind of hoping it was. Nonetheless, it is still up in the air on whether or not Jim Carrey will return for the Sonic movie 3, and I think that's exactly what this movie was trying to do, because if he does return, it still makes sense for his character to somehow survive that blast, considering he's such an undying character in the actual games themselves. Every circumstance he seems to be put through, he still seems to somehow survive. But if he does end up dying, it's not like it wouldn't make any sense at all, considering he was literally centimeters away from the blast that could have killed him. So it would be all sunshines and rainbows if Jim Carrey were to return for the role of Eggman, but if he doesn't, we need to talk about that as well, because what is the new role for the villain in this series if Eggman's not coming back? Because we already know they're not going to recast this character, so what's next? Who is the next villain in line? And I'm going to have to guess here, for the time being, it seems like it's going to be Agent Stone. Judging what we know about this character based off the prequel comic and also the Sonic movies themselves, this character is completely devoted to Dr. Eggman. One thing that we know about Agent Stone while Dr. Eggman was on the Mushroom Planet from the Sonic movie prequel comic is that he actually studied and applied Dr. Eggman's manifesto. Not only did Agent Stone effectively apply these teachings to get exactly where he needs to be in owning the coffee shop that was at one time Karen's, but he also participated in some very heinous crimes that happened behind the scenes that few people knew about until the end. and Karen was one of them. Hypothetically speaking, if he were to become the next big villain in this movie series, it wouldn't be that surprising because they kinda already built it up to be this way if it were to happen anyway. But anyway, let's get to the most important part of this post-credit scene, which everyone seems to be talking about: Shadow the Hedgehog's reveal. So this post-credit scene mentions that Project Shadow is a thing that happened more than 50 years ago. So with that in mind, it seems like they're going to be explaining some of the events of Sonic Adventure 2, but we have to remember that Gun was actually just recently formed, and it was formed for Sonic the Hedgehog's purposes. And with that in mind, if Gun is a recently formed organization, then they could have had nothing to do with the events that transpired on the Space Colony arc 50 years ago, meaning Shadow's backstory seems to be lacking a very crucial asset: who shot Maria? Believe it or not, this post-credit scene actually gives us quite a bit of information, and even though it is slightly buried underneath the surface, we were still able to find it anyway. And the first thing I wanted to talk about here was the whole idea of Project Shadow being something that's a hidden project. No one really knows about it except for the government. So if the government's trying to keep this under wraps, then someone involved with the government, likely a police officer of some kind, had to have shot Maria if she's going to be in the movie anyway. It's a very, very, very loose answer, but it's an answer nonetheless, so we can kind of go with that kind of indication and move forward, since that's pretty much all the information we have to go off on this front. However, there is one more thing that I did notice about this post-credit scene that seems to may have been unintentional, but if it is intentional, then we have a whole lot more to unbox. Throughout the final scenes of this movie, the Gun Commander is asking a whole bunch of questions regarding the events of 50 years ago, and then, towards the end, without anyone having to say anything, he says, "My gosh, Project Shadow," or something along those lines. And I feel like him saying those words and saying it just like that made it seem as if he actually knew some information that other people did not. And maybe that means he could have been part of it, since we know the Gun Commander as a child was actually on board the Space Colony arc with Shadow and Maria many years ago. Yeah, this could definitely be a reach, but I still wanted to analyze the possibility because this is actually canon to the games, and it could possibly be canon in the future for the Sonic movie 3, so I don't think it's that far out of the realm of possibility. Anyway, with all that said and done, I wanted to take some time talking about Shadow the Hedgehog's amazing design, which actually looks basically virtually pulled right out of the games because, I mean, aside from the whole realistic approach they had to take with it, but even still, it looks very, very one-to-one. There's no different color arms or anything like that. It's straight up just black and red, just like how he is normally, and I gotta say, I love it. And the red electricity he had in his eyes toward the end of the trailer was just jaw-dropping. Insane. I really wish I could show it off here in this video, but I don't want to get hit with like a copyright strike or something, so I'm just gonna talk about it here and just give you a picture of Shadow. So yeah, enjoy Shadow the Hedgehog. That's basically the same thing. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say in this video, but now I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this post-credit scene? What are your predictions, your theories, anything? Give me all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'd love to see what you guys have to say as always, so leave those thoughts in the comment section down below. But anyway, before I go here, I do want to take this time to shout out some of my amazing channel members. Thank you all again so much for supporting me and my channel and creating the best possible content that I can create. Again, you guys are truly phenomenal, and none of this would be possible without you. I know I say this a lot, but I literally do wake up and praise the Lord for y'all every single day. Thank you all again so very much. You guys are truly the best motivators. If you're interested in becoming a member of my channel, there will be a link in the description down below. But if you want to support me through other means, leaving a like, comment, and subscribing, and turning on that post notification bell definitely helps and goes a super long way. You do not want to miss when I upload, so definitely hit that bell. But anyway, thank you all again so much for watching. This is your boy Sonicsta signing out. Have a super blessed day. I love you.
Why are you playing that trash?